All right, so do you think that works for introductions there, or let's just jump into it then, right?
Yep.
All right, so the purpose of our talk, I guess, is to share some information about, the early days of Pipedrive and then scaling up to where it is today and everything you've learned from that. So I have to say that I'm a user of Pipedrive, actually. We've been using it at ArticStartup for some time, and I don't know, I'm a very happy customer, I guess. But I guess one place to start would be, like nowadays, it seems really obvious that there should be this lightweight competitor to Salesforce. But was it so obvious when you were getting started, and how was that challenge?
Well, it wasn't that obvious. We had two co-founders. Altogether, we have five.
Right.
But the two of them were doing sales for like more than 10 years already, and they went through like different softwares for themselves and something to recommend to their users, or like the ones that they were doing the sales consultancy to. And they paid like 50,000 euro for Microsoft Dynamics one day, and 2 weeks later, they still had the sales pipeline on the wall with Post-it notes.
Okay.
So that was kind of this fun-to-face moment where they realized that something needs to change. Like some software needs to come out that salespeople would actually love to use. And this is how Pipedrive was born. And they met up with me and the two other co-founders, and we had been building consumer web apps. So this sales knowledge and the consumer web app knowledge came together so that we built a tool that was really good for salespeople because these guys obviously knew salespeople, and we knew how to build a software that didn't look like your average business tool.
Okay. And I have to say that you started out as the CTO there, correct? And then
Yes.
now you're head of customer service, is that?
I did that as well.
Okay.
So I started as the CTO. Then we started having users really early on, and as the software wasn't really ready for them, someone had to support them. So I started doing that full time, and the other Martin took over the CTO role because he was doing that a lot better than me anyway. So I ran support for 3 years, and then I moved into product management. So.
Okay. Interesting. So Christian, how did Pipedrive pop onto your radar then, and what was buzzing with the VCs out there?
Yeah. So I was actually in my previous career, I was in sales at Oracle. So I was actually one of these users of these clumsy tools that are hard to use and not mobile-centric. And at the end of the day, you have your little notebook and your sticky notes. And then around 2010, 2011, there's a platform that's very famous now, but then was hardly known. AngelList popped up. And also, one of my friends was an angel investor in Pipedrive, and so I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." And I started using it. I've used it for my a private project pipeline, even deal flow. That's what VCs call the deals that we have in our pipeline that we look at, that we take our notes in, and then close it down or advance it to a next stage. And that's what I used it for. And then came a point where I started meeting the company, met the CEO, Timo, the founder and CEO, also other founders. I met them in Tallinn at conferences. And so a relationship developed. And to me, it's very important to build that kind of relationship in order to invest into a company. It doesn't have to take years to develop that relationship, but it's some time. And then there was an opportunity to invest.
Okay, so that's we'll get into that later. I guess this bigger funding round later. But while we're still talking about early stage, obviously, well, how many users does Pipedrive have these days?
Users, like around 100,000.
Okay.
We have more than 10,000 paying customers, companies.
Okay. So it's a massive company now, but looking back in the beginning, obviously you had to get to this massive amount of users. What were the challenges actually scaling up the company?
Well, obviously in the early days, you don't have too many people, so everyone had to do multiple jobs, and the CTO was also watching over the servers. So it had we've had a couple of situations where the servers went down, and if you're running a business tool, that's obviously not a good thing,
right.
Especially if it's around Christmas and it's in the evening and no one is picking up the phone. And me as the kind of technical guy, but not really versed in servers, had to really jump in and log into the servers, restart some things, and I'm really glad I don't have to do this anymore, now that we have people that are on call, even in the evenings.
Okay. Well, I mean, you gotta be. How does it make you feel as an investor that hearing about these servers?
Well, it's one of those problems that you don't want to have, but at the end, it makes for great stories on a stage. But the moment it happens, it's not so great. But because what you want is provide superior customer service. But having a website go down because of too much traffic, or these things, it's just I guess it's one of those growth pains.
Right, right. So servers going down, I mean, that's one growing pain, but what were some other growing pains from the early days?
Well, obviously, like finding investors was one thing. If you build a company in Estonia, it's possible to find good designers, good product people, like build the software. Obviously, we have a ton of engineers, but like finding investments is not that easy. So we had to applied to different accelerators and then ended up in AngelPad before we actually got some like real investors on board.
Okay. And is that like, do you think that's because you were based in Estonia, or is this just a problem to any entrepreneur, or what?
I guess it was. I guess it's true for like everyone, really, that when you're starting out and you know a lot about one topic, for example, like sales software.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult to build that software, but to get it growing so that like everyone around the world, like we have customers from more than 100 countries. Getting it to grow this way, that was really difficult. And
well, how did you do that then? What were the tricks that really made Pipedrive take off?
So we started localizing really early on. So we added Brazilian Portuguese already back in 2011. Also, the AppSumo campaign was really helpful because Pipedrive is growing a lot by word of mouth, just users like liking it, talking about it. But for the network effect to like really kick in, you need to have more users. So if you have 10 users that really like it, it doesn't really scale. So the AppSumo campaign helped us get from 100 customers to like 250 customers basically overnight. And this bigger community of users started talking about it, and that really helped us like to get the flywheel going.
Okay, interesting.
But you have to admit that Pipedrive's growth was pretty organic. It came naturally because it was a perfect fit product for many people worldwide. It was not just European or American, but it was really worldwide.
Yeah, it's really global. And I think what also helped was that from the early days, we really tried to build a software that was like much more human. It wasn't very business-like. So all of our emails are really like tongue-in-cheek, and the onboarding flow is really like human. So you have this email if you sign up for the trial, and if you haven't done anything for 3 days, you get this email about Martin, who's like clicking at the dashboard and refreshing the page, and is really worried that you're not using Pipedrive, and like, oh, maybe I can help you. So these really personalized touches, and we have these funny quotes in the end of the emails. We would try to be really human, and I guess that resonated with people that were used to using these awful, like very business-like tools, and that really helped.
I did like that. And then also myself, I'm not the person really doing the sales or accounting, but when paying attention to sales, like just being able to see this dashboard, see these things moving, it was immensely helpful to my business. Just being like, I don't have to wait for the quarterly like numbers to come in or something. Like you can just see things happening day by day.
Well, yeah, and we see that a lot. People that do not define themselves as salespeople, but they do occasionally have to do it. So Pipedrive gives them a really good framework of getting this deal flow going, and that really helps them do it. So if you just give them a list or a spreadsheet, they have no idea what to do next. So Pipedrive kind of like puts you in there and always like makes it clear what the next step is and what you need to do. So
it's a wide variety of people using it, like real estate brokers using it to manage their interest, their properties and their customers base. VCs or private equity firms using it for their deal flow. It could be a really wide range of people managing projects or whatever in it.
Yeah, and you could have multiple pipelines in a company. So a company would use it to sell an animation, for example, and then use another pipeline to actually build this animation. So you have different stages for different projects.
Okay. It's very back-end heavy, So some people even built their own customized front ends or integrate other platforms into it. So,
Yeah, that's been really kicking off lately. Other companies seeing that we have such a huge amount of small businesses using Pipedrive, and we have a very open REST API. So we see a lot more developers coming and building their solutions on top of
So how many
Pipedrive.
developers do you have in Estonia working on this?
We have 100 people in Estonia in the Tallinn office.
Yeah. And that's how many engineers?
I guess half of them are engineers, around 50
So
people now.
50 people working on the back end.
Okay. Do you worry with all these new plugins and so on, like you're going to just become another bloated Salesforce? Like, is there any concern on your side for that?
No, not really. We're known by like going back and polishing the existing features, making sure that everything really works nicely together, instead of just blindly adding more features. So we see so many competitors look really good on paper because they have the feature matrix all filled out.
Right.
But as soon as you start using it, you say, oh my God, it's like nothing really works together. All the features are kind of half-assed. So we don't want to do that, and we're not doing it.
Okay. Just quickly, because we don't have too much time, but I mean, I think one challenge that Pipedrive went through, or maybe it's not even a challenge, but you guys changed CEOs not too long ago. You brought in an outside CEO. And I remember your blog post. It looked like a match made in heaven, actually. It was almost like a love letter back and forth. But I'm wondering, what was that like emotionally and for the team to have a new CEO and drive the boat?
Well, yeah, definitely. It's a very risky thing to do because you have this culture going, and like whenever you bring in a new person, even if it's not the CEO, but anyone in the leadership position, it's always risky.
Yeah.
But we have been really lucky with Steve because he has this quality of being much more like Nordic or European-like, even though he's American. But he says that like he has the ability to like turn it on. But usually he's much like more in line with our culture and our like level of energy.
Yeah.
Like Estonians are not really
Yeah, I hear you.
very outgoing, and also he like loves small business, understands our model, and is not trying to change the company or the direction. Like it just has been really, really helpful. We see that the last 6 months, we see Pipedrive growing and becoming much more professional, and the management of the company has become better.
Okay. Now, Christian's up on stage here, obviously, because you guys got a $9 million funding round with Bessemer Ventures and Paua as well. And I mean, a new CEO coming in, is that a factor? Like, I mean, you always hear VCs talking about it's all about the team, it's all about the team. But was that a factor when you guys were negotiating the deal?
Well, it's something where we saw Steve as an extension of the management team, or like an addition to the management team that would complement it, make it stronger.
Yeah.
And it really was a match made in heaven, and the team, the founder team, and Steve got along really, really well. And Steve had that experience of scaling a company or being part of a company that grew to tens of millions in recurring revenue and many tens of thousands of customers, and in exactly that space. And that was very relevant. So this is where the team felt this would be a good addition, and the investors agreed, and so far it turns to be out a very good path the company has taken.
Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. So where are you going with this new funding round then? Like, what's next? I mean...
Well, yeah, 100,000 customers obviously is the next step we're going for. Yeah, we've been hiring like crazy. I guess we've hired like 60 new people since the founding round,
right.
And we keep doing it. We just opened the new floor in Tallinn. The opening party is tonight. I hope I get there in time.
Okay. So those are the new challenges now, getting back for your new floor
scaling
opening
the
party.
team. I mean, going from 5 to 50, and then going from 50 to 100, and now like there's 120 of us, and we keep growing. It's always a challenge, and you always have the next thing that you need to learn.
Well, how do you keep the company culture then when you're growing then?
Well, I don't think you can really keep it, but you can make sure that it grows into the direction that you like.
Right.
So it will be always changing, but we have very specific company values that we hire and fire by, and the culture is really defined by the people. So
Right.
if you take really good care at hiring people, then like it's the best chance of keeping the culture.
And the team in Tallinn is actually very international, right? It's
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
something worth mentioning. It's
yeah,
not
it's
only
like,
Estonians working there, but people from how many nationalities?
There's 12 to 15 different nationalities in the team. No one really knows anymore. We have like 8 Brazilians working at Pipedrive, like people from other parts of Latin America and North America and Europe, like all over the place. So we're
Right.
really lucky. So it feels more like a university. You have a bunch of young people that speak different languages and like all these different cultures. It's amazing.
I think that's all we have time for. But I mean, you guys are one of the most exciting companies coming out of the region, if not Estonia. And it's really been fun to watch your growth over the last few years. So anyways, thanks so much.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.